So guys, who here, let's just start off, who here is doing open houses, at least once a month? Okay. So most of you, who here is doing them every week? Who here is crushing them, feels like they're doing a lot? Okay, good. Amazing to see. So who here is consistently getting business leads, signups, results from their open houses? Who feels like when they go do an open house, it's a great use of time and they, rather than watching football, they're getting something out of it? A couple hands, not as many. Okay, perfect. So this is something that I tell our agents when we're doing open houses, if we're not going to buckle down and treat them seriously, we might as well take the weekend off and hang out with our family, right? And I think that's something to remember and to be aware of, is that when you're going through doing open houses, that you're not just doing them to do them. It's like prospecting. You're not just dialing the phone to get a dial in. You're doing it with an objective. And so I think I have screen share here. I'm going to pull up just our open house process.
While you're doing that, Michael,
yeah.
Guys, I'm going to take just 30 seconds really quick. You got a real treat ahead of you, because Baird and his team in a market, by the way, guys, the market is projected to be fewer sales this year in 2025 than we saw in 2024. 2024 was 4.1 million. Right now, the market is showing the pace of 4.034 million. In that face of that market, Baird and his team are up what Baird, 35 million in terms of volume this year, 35, 40 million, somewhere around there.
Yeah, but probably about 40 million.
40 million, like in a market that's flat. He and his team have absolutely crushed it, right? So you are like getting something from someone that is absolutely scaling in the right way. So I just want to make sure that they get some context of who you are. Michael is also a coach for us. It was one of the first 3 coaches to come in, and I always say there would be no Coach Pipes and G3 if it wasn't for Mr. Baird. So I really appreciate you. You guys, grab your pens, take a lot of notes today. Okay.
Yeah, and my Venmo payment to Bill just went through for that kind introduction, so appreciate that. No, but guys, with open houses, with prospecting, with whatever you're doing in your business, you should only do it if you're doing it with intention. And so that's what we found, a few years ago when our agents were doing open houses was, and we've all been there, I'll raise my hand first, right? Go throw a couple signs out and sit there for a couple hours on Saturday so my seller doesn't yell at me, right? And what we found is that if you're doing that, you might as well not even show up, because you're just wasting your time. You're not getting anything out of it. So I will share my screen here. And this is our open house process. Basically what we did is, like we said, we want to systematize this process to where we are getting the total, the most amount of leads, opportunities, and results out of this that we can. Can everybody see my screen? So perfect. So I'll go through this. So we have a 7-day plus process for open houses, right? Usually it's open house. It's like, it's Friday, I'll throw it in the MLS and go do it Saturday or Sunday. We want to treat this like a pillar of our business. So we have 3 main pillars of our business here on my team: open houses, online leads, and our sphere, right? So I'm sure most of us have a robust plan around online leads, about follow-up, about all that kind of stuff, but we need to treat open houses the same way. So basically, starting out on Monday, what we're doing is we're prospecting for open houses. And so those of you that were at the event and heard Danny Burgess talk about that, he spoke about prospecting for open houses. So what we're doing, and I can share this with you guys, Bill, I'll get this to you and get it out to everybody, so you don't have to take too good of notes. I can't read my handwriting anyway. So what we do is on Monday, if our team has open house that we want to do, great, we're doing that. It's super easy. Otherwise, we're sending out this text: hey, I saw your listing at 123 Main Street. Congrats on the awesome listing. Who doesn't like to be, have their ego fluffed a little bit? So we're getting in that way. If you don't have anything scheduled already, I would love to do an open house for you from blank to blank. Let me know if that would work and we can get coordinated. So we're sending this text message every 15, 20 minutes on Monday morning. And what we're doing is we know that, a lot of agents won't respond. won't agree. So we're not waiting until this one person responds. We're just going to send it every 20 minutes. So we're prospecting for open houses. You can also call agents. I like to make things simple, super simple, to copy and paste this text to 10 or 15 different agents. If you ever have the excuse of, oh, I can't find a home to hold open, there are listing agents out there who are busy, who don't want to do their own open houses, but have promised their sellers that they're going to do open houses and they need you. So there's opportunities out there. So once you get permission to use their photos, market it, right? All of a sudden that becomes your listing for the week. When you're building social media awareness, the more you put out there, the more people are going to see you. So you have this listing that you're able to hold open. You're going to, with their permission, post pictures, post flyers, do everything to get out there and let people know that you're in real estate, and that's what you do, because that's how you get referrals. That's how you get repeat business. You stay top of mind for people. So we have an open house sheet on our team that we track all the open houses on. So that's that part. So Tuesday, you're going to start planning. You're going to plan where you're going to place the signs. And this is something super important, right? The more signs you put out, I think at the conference you mentioned, somebody's like, oh, we put 30, 40 plus signs. The more signs you put, the better, because frankly, that is how most people, at least if we found, whenever somebody comes in, we ask them how they found us, and most people see the signs and come in. So it stands to reason that the more signs we have, the better it's going to be. So on Tuesday, we're planning out where those signs are going to be. And on our team, we're signing up to reserve a spot on our circle dialer. We use Mojo. And then filling out those open house sheet. And this is kind of more internal stuff. Going to Wednesday. So on Wednesday, and this is, I think, is where the magic is. So Pipes, you remember this. I coached a kid a couple of years ago, 18-year-old in Vegas, was brand new to the industry. And all he did was follow this open house process, just like a beast. He was doing 4 or 5 open houses a week. 18 years old, brand new to the market. In his first 6 months licensed, sold 12 homes only from open house. And that's closed in his first 6 months. And what he found was that he got most of his clients from the work before the open house, not actually at the open house from people that came in. So that's why this part is so important. And if you want to make this a legitimate pillar of your business, you need to do this part. So Wednesday, we will circle dial the neighborhood around to invite them to the open house. So 50 to 100 people, more if you're feeling ambitious, if you have time. Hey, my name is Michael with the Baird Group. The reason for my call is to invite you to your neighbor's open house this weekend. Will you be around? Yes, no, doesn't matter. Hey, well, I promised your neighbor I would do everything in my power to help sell their home. So while I have you, who do you know that's in the market to buy a home? Why are we doing this? Well, when we're calling these other homeowners around there, sure, they might know somebody that's looking to move into the area, but realistically, they are interviewing us to sell their home, right? So all of these conversations we have when we're showing how hard we're working for our clients, because how many open houses happen every weekend in your market? I don't know, hundreds, right? There's a lot. How many of those people do you think are circle dialing, door knocking to get people to come to that open house? Probably not many. Let me stop share here and see. Is anybody currently door knocking or circle dialing before open houses? Lauren, awesome, good for you. So you're ahead of the curve.
Not as many as you say, though. I usually only get 5 or 10 done.
Okay. Yeah, totally, and that's okay. I mean, you're doing obviously more than the average agent. So let me share again here. So that's what something just extraordinarily important is, that work. And look at this as, not only am I getting the word out about the open house, but the main thing is I'm showing the work I do for my sellers, right? And it doesn't matter if it's your listing or not, right? You're showing the work you do. And this circle dialing, I will tell you, has gotten more clients from my agents, people I've coached, than pretty much anything else. Like I've almost been to the point before where I'm like, you don't even need to do the open house. You just do the work before and you're going to fill your pipeline. Now, obviously you need to go do the open house or you're going to have some angry sellers. But so then you move into, out of curiosity, what were your real estate plans over the next 6 to 12 months, right? Just kind of standard scripting. And then see if they want to get a neighborhood update. Many of your neighbors have signed up on our monthly news update. What's the best email to get that? Boom. Okay. And then Danny talked about this. There's a few different ways to do this. So we're printing out information for our clients only red folder. And this is, if you're at the conference, he talked about kind of this is the magnet, so to speak. So when we're at the open house, we want to have that information that other people, that only our clients can have. So we literally have a red folder, and we legitimately write on it, clients only, do not touch. And what does everyone want to do to something that says do not touch? They want to touch it, right? They want to know what it's about. They want to know what's in it. It intrigues them. So in this, we have expireds, we have our off-market inventory, we have basically everything that you can't go buy on Zillow, right? You can't go see online. So it's providing value. So what we do with that is, if anybody wants to see it, we just say, hey, that's totally fine. It's for our clients only, right? It's an exclusive tool of working with the Baird Group, and it is a way to set up a meeting to actually earn them as a client. Pipes, I saw you leaning forward. Were you adding something on that? No. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Then we use an open house sign up link that gets the lead right into our database. Why do we generate that on Wednesday? Because occasionally there's glitches, and we want to know before 5 minutes before the open house if the information we're getting from people is actually going to go in our CRM. Thursday, door knocking, I'll save you. The script is pretty much the same as circle dialing. We're going to try to door knock 50 doors, right? And we're just saying, that's probably more than we're doing currently. I want you to think, okay, in your business, what it would do to your business if every week you just did one open house and you circle dialed 100 people and you knocked 50 doors around that open house and you did the open house, right? So circle dialing, hour and a half to do that. The door knocking, maybe hour and a half, 2 hours, kind of depending how quick you're going, how close the houses are. And then set up and tear down for the open house 2 or 3 hours, right? So you're spending, maybe 6 hours a week on this. What it would do for your business if you consistently did that 50 weeks a year. Most people, the answer is, if they follow this process and consistently do it, it's going to add dozens of sales to their business, right? And we've seen it happen. We've seen it work. It's all the magic, like so many things, is all in the work. So Thursday, we're door knocking, similar script to the circle dialing. Again, I'll share this with you guys. When we're out door knocking, we're also doing a Facebook or Instagram live, announcing the open house out in front of the open house. But I think a key hack to this is we're doing it a couple days before the open house, not on the day of the open house. So it has time to cook, so to speak. It has time to get out there. It has time for people to see it, to where it can actually drive traffic to the open house. So I, got my most valuable tool in the arsenal. I got my phone, and hey, it's Michael. I'm out in front of 123 Main Street. Man, I'm so excited. It's a great place. We're going to be out here Saturday from 1 to 3. Tell everybody, right? And share that around. And so it gets you out there, again, gets you on social media, gets you doing those things. Depending on your jurisdictions, you might not, like, we have certain cities around here where if we put a sign on public property, they will take it. Crazy, but we can't do it. So another door knocking opportunity is, if you can't put signs on public property, door knock the neighbors that you want to put it in their yard and ask them if you can, right? It's a great opportunity to connect. Hey, Bill, nice to meet you. I'm doing an open house. Look, for us, the city of Castle Rock snatches all our signs. I'm trying to work as hard as I can for my seller here and get as many people to their open house. Can you do me a huge favor? People want to do favors for us. Can you do me a huge favor? Would you mind if on Saturday I put a sign in your yard pointing towards the open house for a couple hours? It would help out a lot. It's a great way to meet neighbors. It's a great way to raise awareness about your open house. And it is a great way to show people who are thinking about selling in the future that you work hard for your clients. Because again, what I'll tell you is, like, in the areas here where we can't put signs on public areas, most of the open houses just don't have any signs pointing towards them, right? And so if a neighbor in the area sees that, I'm going to go knock on doors to be able to put out signs to get to their house, right? To get to that open house, they're going to know that I'm an agent that actually works for them. We're also going to set up a showing preview at the property that we're doing, especially if it's not our listing. We want to know what it looks like. We don't want to go into that open house and have no idea. Secondly, there might be some issue. It might be a dump. It might be dirty. It might be vacant. It might need to be cleaned. We want to know that going in because we're representing that product when we're at the open house. That product is a direct representation of us. So it's super important that we know what we're going into and it's clean. It's looking good. Then actual open house day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, evening open house, whenever you're doing it, arrive at least 30 minutes early to put out signs. Probably need to update that to 45 minutes to an hour. Put the red folder on the counter. Here's a quick script for when somebody walks in. If it's a neighbor, hey, neighbor, you're doing a little nosy neighbor market research, huh? Right? Just, take the bull by the horns, and that's what they're doing. And we're facing it head on. Engage them. How's your house compare to this one? Hey, what are your real estate plans over the next 6 to 12 months? If you were to make a move, when would that be? Where would you move to? In a perfect world, wave a magic wand, what would your new home have? Right. So we're just engaging because nothing, I don't want to say nothing. There's other things that make me more angry, but when it comes to open houses, when an agent does an open house and says, oh man, there's just nosy neighbors that came in, right? And we've all said that. I've definitely said that before. It was just nosy neighbors. You know what nosy neighbors are? They're people that own homes that will be selling their homes at some point in the future that will need a real estate agent to sell their home to pay a commission to. And I want to be the one that earns those commissions, right? So when those nosy neighbors come in, those are potential sellers. And what better way to communicate with potential sellers than to show them how great of a job I do at hosting an open house, right? So those conversations with the nosy neighbors are some of the most important conversations that you can have at an open house, even though it's not going to sell the house. Usually open houses don't, right? Like it's an opportunity to showcase the house and showcase your skills. If it's a buyer, hey, what brings you in today? How'd you find us? Like I said, we always ask that. How else have you been searching for homes? Little typo there. How else have you been searching for homes is a great way to find if they have an agent. I'm not directly asking anyone if they have an agent. I am asking them this question. I don't want to give them the out, right? If you're talking to a real estate agent, what do you do to make them go away? You tell them you have an agent. How much of the time are people telling the truth when they say they have an agent? Not very often, right? So I don't want to give them that out. I'm going to find out on my own, right? And this was something I talked about, the 18-year-old kid that did so great with open houses. I asked him how he found out if they had an agent, and he said, I didn't really care. I just talked to them. It was my turf. They were on my turf, and I was there to do a service for the sellers and to be there. And so I just treated everybody the same. Right now, if they walk in with their real estate agent, and showing sheets, like, okay, it's a little different story. But just go have conversations, and they're on your turf there at the open house. Talk about pre-approval. Another way to find if they have an agent. Have you submitted any offers? Usually if the answer to that is yes, there's a good chance they have an agent. Great way to search for that information. Then we go into the red folder. Hey, I've pulled some really interesting market data off market properties. So before you guys leave, swing by the table and take a look. So for the most part, our stance is we're not going to follow them around the house, right? We're not going to tail them and make them feel uncomfortable. We're going to greet them and then give them a reason to stop by when they leave. Now, if there's no reason, are they going to stop by when they leave? Probably not. They're probably going to wave as they're walking out the door to get the heck out of there. But if we have that little carrot of the red folder, there's a good chance they're going to come back. And again, we're always looking for the appointment or qualifying if they have a realtor. So one thing that we don't specifically have in here, but I just want to go back here. So what is your number one mission with someone that walks into your open house? Your open house. Does anybody want to chime in with what they think?
Get an appointment.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Ron. Well done. Just one answer. That's all we needed. Get an appointment. So your mission when you're hosting that open house, when you're taking your Saturday, taking your Sunday, missing, NFL, college games, whatever it is that you'd rather be doing than sitting in that house, every person that comes in, it is your moral, ethical obligation to yourself, to them, to the market to set an appointment. Okay. And so this has been such a big mindset shift for everybody I've worked with on this, is that it's not just the open house to showcase the house and let people in and do it because my seller says I need to. Like, no, this is my lead generation time. And gosh, I think Colton talked about at the conference, you need to set an appointment from the appointment or something, right? So every time you're in front of someone, talking to someone, there needs to be an established next step. And so when someone walks into your open house, you're having that interaction with them, the established next step needs to be an appointment. And so I'm going to share again here to get back into this. So one little hack to get information, right? And this is a little, some people don't like this and don't do this. I have some agents that love to do this. So we set up a table at the entry because, okay, so this was explained to me, like what do most agents do in an open house? They sit back in the kitchen, where the chairs are, and they wait, and people wander in, and they're 50% of the way into the home. And then they're like, oh, hey, do you mind signing in? Right? Like, the sellers, want to know who's been in or whatever. And everybody's like, oh, no, I'm good. And you don't get sign-ins, right? People are already in the home. You're not going to forcibly remove them. We set up a table at the very front. And when they walk up, hey, did you pre-register for the open house event? Right. And there was no pre-registration, so nobody pre-registered. Okay. Well, hey, I can get you in. What's your name? Right. Write down their name. What's your phone number? What's your email? You're writing it down. You're taking initiative. You can enter it in the QR code to get the information into your CRM, however you do it. But this is a little hack that's gotten us way more sign-ins. And then when they're leaving, setting an appointment for the next call. So, hey, Bob, what most people find helpful is to do a quick Zoom call or meeting at our office to go over the process and answer any questions. So when the time is right, you're fully prepared and there's no delay. I love this aspect of this, what most people find helpful, right? So others that have come before you find it helpful to set a meeting with me. So you're setting the precedent that the best thing for you to do is set a meeting, getting the appointment, asking for the appointment. I think we're running short on time here, so I'll breeze through the rest here. So after the open house, go pick up the signs that are closest so people aren't still coming in. Leave the others, go back in the house, and this is key, right? Like this is where the gold is found. You're sending a video text to them either from your phone or through your CRM, however you guys do it. Thanking them for coming in, right? Because when people go to open houses, they tend to go to 3 or 4 or 5, and all the realtors, we all look the same, we all sound the same, we're all a dime a dozen, right? But I not you guys or me, but all the other ones. But I will tell you that probably if you send them a video text, you're the only one that did that all day. So which one do you think that they're most likely to remember? The one that they set an appointment with, obviously, and the one that sent them a video text, right? So if you use that differentiating piece, if that's only thing you take from this is send a video text to anybody that you met at an open house, you're going to start getting more appointments, more results. And then we add them into our CRM and basically set a 7-day follow-up plan with them. And our plan with that is to reach out to them, call, text, email pretty much every day if we didn't set an appointment with them, to determine their motivation and to determine what our follow-up cadence is with them after that. So we got a couple minutes left here. Any questions, thoughts, comments on the open house process, things you think you're going to change?
What is your ratio of open house to sale? Do you guys have those numbers?
Yeah, so we typically find it's about every 6 to 8 people that we get through, that we get information with, we get a client, right? So like in this market, getting a contract signed doesn't necessarily mean a sale, but it's typically that 6 to 8 people. If you do the follow-up right, if you follow the process, that will turn into a client that we're working with.
What's your market and your price point, just for context?
Yeah. We're in Denver, Colorado. Our average price is about $600.
Okay. Hey, go Broncos, Michael.
What's that?
I lived in Colorado for 20 plus years. I said, go Broncos.
Oh yeah, go Broncos. Heck yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
I'd like to share something as well. And thank you for hosting this. I appreciate that. One of the things I would do when I was doing open houses is I would ask them, hey, tour the house for us, take your time. And if you don't mind, on your way back out, you said the red folder, the kitchen, the red folder. I would say, I would really appreciate it if you can share with us your feedback of this home you're touring, so I can relay to the sellers what you guys are feeling about this home and your thoughts on the price, on the layout, on the yard. And
Totally.
then share, I have the buyers do a feedback to the sellers.
Totally. Yeah.
And I said it's anonymous, where your name won't be revealed. We won't share anything, just your feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the what's in it for me, right? The coming back to get the information from the folder, but then we also like doing nice things for other people. So I love that, Linda. That's like the double whammy of what's in it for me, and I'm helping somebody else out. So all the hooks we can to bring them back to us to have more conversation, so we can do that one thing that we should focus on with every person that walks through the door, is set the appointment, set the next step.
Michael, have you talked about every 6 or 7 people that you guys get information on, it becomes a client. What percentage of them have been listings of, like, neighbors that you might have initially thought were just nosy, that you listing their property and then helping them buy a home?
Yeah, so I don't have the exact number to this, to be frank, but from what I see, probably 30-40%, honestly. Like open houses are such a better tool to get listings than people give them credit for, right? They're looked at as a nuisance first, and second as a way to get buyers. But I think they're one of the best ways to get listings. And especially in a market like this, all of the neighbors see homes sitting on the market for 180 days, right? Not selling. And they're like, I want to work with somebody like that is actually going to actively try to sell my home. So we have to overall look at the open house as an audition to potential home sellers, right? And buyers are going to come in, right? Buyers are going to come in, if that's great, but we are auditioning to people who are thinking about selling their home. And when we start looking at it that way, we're going to take it so much more seriously. We're going to perform better, and we're going to get way more out of it.
Couldn't agree more. Anyone else have any other questions for Michael?
I have a question. Do you have any particular script that you use for a listing that's in a gated community, or like a 55 and over? Because a lot of times they're in a 55 and over gated because they want to be secure. They don't want folks soliciting. I know or knocking. Is there like a specific way you go about that door knocking?
I mean, first of all, probably wouldn't do one in that neighborhood, right? If it's my listing and I absolutely have to, sure, maybe. I'm not looking to, get in trouble, so like if it's a gated, no soliciting neighborhood, I'm probably not going to go door knock on that one. That's why I think prospecting for the open house is so important. You want to find an open house that is in an area you want to work, that is accessible, that's going to have a lot of drive-by traffic, that's in a decent price point. You don't want to go the cheapest house in the area. You don't want to go the most expensive house in the area, right? You want to be kind of in the middle. And I think when we start looking at open houses as our tool for prospecting, for gaining clients, we start looking at it a lot differently, right? Like, what area do I want to work? What kind of client do I want to get? What price point do I want to be in? And we can start using our open houses to make us that neighborhood expert. And so I think we can be picky with where we're doing open houses. Now, if it's our listing, we need to do that. If it's a gated community, put a sign by the gate, say call to get in, whatever, things like that you can work around it. But for the most part, my thing I tell my agents is just pick better open houses, right? Nobody came. A, did you do the steps? B, did you pick a crappy area to do your open house?
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Do you consider the days on market as far as what house you're going to pick? Actually, 2 questions. And Bill, a couple weeks ago, coached us on possibly doing like a 1-hour slot just for the neighbors first, and then doing the open house for the public. Have you tried that, and how did it go?
Yeah. So Lucy, great questions. We do look at days on market. I think the first weekend or two are always the best, or the first weekend after a price drop. Because if it's stale, if it's been out there, people have already seen it, and you're going to get less traffic from online. You're still going to get the walk-in traffic, so nothing's terrible. But I always try to do the first couple weekends within listing, or a weekend or two after a price drop. Just it's going to have more eyeballs on it naturally. What was your second question? Sorry, I spaced already.
Have you ever tried to do like a 1 hour slot just for
Oh,
the
yeah.
neighbors?
Yeah, so we toyed with that a little bit. We really didn't see a difference in results. And if Bill said to do it, absolutely. But wink, wink. But no, we just didn't. And it's probably area dependent, right? Like, maybe if you're in a more upscale area, you might have more people feel like, oh yeah, it's a private, invite only. But my thing is we don't want to do long open houses. We want to get people in and out. I would personally never do more than 2 hours, right? But hour and a half to 2 hours, I think is a good time slot, because if you're doing a good job of funneling people in, you get them in, then it's busier in there. You get more, perceived value in a shorter amount of time.
What about food?
Again, I think area dependent, right? Like my thing is, if you're good at what you're doing, if you're good at your scripts, if you're good at your conversations, you don't really need food, right? Like that's luxury price point, right? Different story. I'm talking average price point, average area in your town. Absolutely can do it. I like having food just because I like to eat, but I don't think that has really helped me win or lose business. Again, I think it's if you want to add to the experience with it, I don't think it's a bad idea, but I don't think it's super high on the importance list.
Yeah. I mean, I think you are right. It depends on the market, but just remember, going back to the idea of you are interviewing without knowing for the job of representing other sellers in that community.
Yeah.
And when someone goes in there and you're just kind of, just being half in and not doing, I'm not saying that food equates to you being all in, right? But I think it's important to realize that the more you can make it feel like an experience. And I think, Brian is really good at this, and whatever he does, he makes it an experience. Like, think about Disneyland. When you go there, it's an experience. It's not just roller coasters that at a theme park. You're there to like be wowed by all of it. So the more of a wow factor you can create at an open house, like I'd rather have agents one open house a month and just knock it out of the park versus doing every single weekend and just kind of just show up, right? So don't just show up to an open house, make it an experience, make it something that even if you've done an open house there a whole bunch of times, like wow the people that are there. And even if one or two people show up, it's not just the people that show up, right? It's about the videos that you get to do, talking about the experience, talking about the open house, showcasing what you are doing, do the behind the scenes of preparing for that open house. Like, there's so much collateral and content that you can create by that one experience that could help you truly maximize everything you're doing for that prospective buyer, or for that homeowner, and then for yourself. So
yeah, totally agree, Nazar. Yeah, that's a great point. If you're going to do it right.
Yeah. We always liked having a little bit of food there because they stayed just a little bit longer. If they stayed just a little bit longer, it gave us a little bit more opportunity for conversation with them as well too. So
yeah.
And what's another fun method to get their info is doing drawings. I'll do Starbucks drawings, gift cards, and that makes it fun for them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think one thing to remember, from what we've seen, is a lot of the value of the leads of the opportunities are gotten before the open house is even hosted, right? Before in the door knocking, in the circle dialing, in that kind of stuff. And you really, if you want to go do 2 open houses a week and do all the activities around them, you can build a business around it. Like I said, the kid I coached sold 12 homes in 6 months, doing 3-4 open houses a week and just doing them right. And that's a brand new agent with no experience. So, now I don't coach our agents to have it be the only part of their business by any means, but it can be a very good pillar of your business if you treat it the right way.
And a very affordable one, I think. I think that's something, especially for newer agents, or if you're just getting going, instead of, if you don't have the money for leads and a ton of like Instagram, Facebook, this is a pretty affordable. And I think we forgot that. COVID made us forget this. I'm my business on open houses and haven't done a great one, if I'm admitting that, in a while. So I appreciate it, Michael.
Yeah, totally, Brian. Good seeing you, man.
You too, man.
Awesome, guys.
Well, thank you, Michael. We really appreciate it. I know everyone's walking out of here with amazing value. So
yeah, thanks for having me. Feel free to reach out anytime. Pipes, I'll get you over this to share with them. And yeah, if this part of your business, anything in your business, if you're going to do it, do it. And I know that sounds silly, but go be all in, do it the right way, and you're going to get so much more out of it. You're going to get better results, and it's going to build your business.
I know, Michael, thank you. I know it's scary for the things that we do. And if you're not used to doing it, or if, feel any type of hesitancy of doing open houses, and if it's not part of your lead pillar, then, you might say, hey, you know what, this is great content. I'm not going to do it until 2026 or whatever it is. But like, it is something to take into consideration, because open houses allows you to get belly to belly with humans that are looking to interact one way or the other in the next, 6 to 12 months or right now. And so if you want that connection, then open houses is definitely something you should take into consideration as you're doing business planning for 2026. And secondly, think about the opportunities for you guys. If you were to do, even if you got 6 transactions out of open houses, I mean, for goodness sake, most agents don't even do 6 transactions in a year, right? It's like less than the average. And so if you can add 6 more transactions to your bottom line, how much money would that make for you? How much money would you make by doing an open house and doing 6 transactions in 2026? How much money would you make? And it's not a rhetorical question. Like, think about it.
A lot.
Yeah, right? Like, obviously, in some of us, like, are in higher price points, even if you're at not the highest price point, like doing open houses. And if you did another 6 transactions, for most of you guys, that could be anywhere from $40,000 to well over $100,000 a year. And so think about maybe adding this to your lead pillar if it's not already there. And if it is a part of your lead pillar and you really weren't really doing all in, then maybe commit to doing all in this next year.
And Nazar, I just ran the math for most people that are on this call. You're looking at about 120, if you did 20 some odd open houses, right? Over the course of the year with a 5 or 6 hour commitment to it, both time there, marketing to knocking around, you're getting about 120 hours, right? At 120 hours, if you get 6 deals, for most of you guys, that's going to be about 100,000. That's $833 per hour that you're earning while you're at that open house, while you're either marketing to or at the open house. It's a great return if you do it right. So, Michael, thank you. I got a jam. Nazar, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Provident, rest of you guys. Great to be here again. See you in 2 weeks, guys.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Bye.